All right, what is up everyone? We are back and I think I have found my new favorite throwing putter from MVP. Let's get into it. Okay, so a couple weeks ago we held an MVP space race at one of the little local pitch and putts here in Springfield. And one of the two discs that came with it was this Eclipse Atom. Now the Atom, I don't know the speed and the glide of it, but the turn and fade is like negative 0.50. So it's a relatively straight to eventually slightly understable putter. So I was a little weary at first, but like off the tee, we were all throwing it like touch a hyzer. These things are actually like very, very stable. Not as stable as like an Envy or anything like that, but definitely a little more workable, torque resistant than I assume like just a stock run Atom is. I haven't thrown the Proton Atom, so I imagine these will be pretty similar, but these things were absolutely incredible. I put one in my bag. This is actually my dad's. He let me use it, you know, for the video, but I put this immediately in the bag because this thing is sweet. We were out at Oak Grove today. Again, another little short course out here, 9 holes only. We're gonna play all 9 with just these two, just so you can kind of get an idea how they fly today. All right, no warm up, so we'll see how this goes. Granted, it's not super long. We're looking at 215. I think I'm gonna throw one kind of hyzer on the right side of this tree and let it crash in. And then we might, if that's good, I'm gonna try to do some kind of like backhand, like turnover-y type shot. Well, that one went pretty straight, but still that fade at the end. All right, that's parked. I think I'm gonna go a little more hyzer, I think, and get it a little higher. That's first throw of the day. Okay, that's interesting. We'll talk about it. All right, so this is my second time playing with those discs. Those were the 2 straightest shots I've gotten with them this whole time. So that's interesting. I mean, I'll have to go back like when I'm editing and see how much hyzer like I actually put on those, but they were pretty much just dead straight. So probably wind dependent would be like when I'm like choosing to throw those things. But that was interesting because they were flying so stable the other night. I think we're just gonna play best shot today. Not a super serious round, just to kind of show these guys off a little bit. Oops. All right, you should be able to see the basket here. 250, playing just, again, it's just gonna be big hyzer to the left. I'm gonna make sure to get these on hyzer because again, that like kind of flipped up right to flat and just pushed straight, or I threw it flat, I'm not 100% sure. But that was the straightest flights I've ever gotten out of them. Both of those shots. Granted, it is a little bit headwindy here, so that could be an quote unquote issue if you want to call it that, but we're gonna go more hyzer here. There we go, a nice pushing hyzer, really wide. I thought it would hyzer more. Okay, these things are confusing me now. Just play it tighter to that tree. I don't know how much hyzer I'm throwing on. There we go, that was too much hyzer. That basically, if I could have mixed those 2 shots together, that would have been really good. I guess it kind of makes sense though, because like every hole, we made every hole like 200 and in, so I was never throwing the disc like super, super hard, but still I figured like with how, and granted it's not like that understable, but with it being a less stable putter too, that I thought it would be more flippy than it is. All right, neither of those were too good here. Granted, especially being premium, these don't make like great putting putters, but we're gonna see if we can ring one up. Oh. There we go. All right, this one should be interesting. We're looking at around 230, it looks like. We do have like straight headwind now and it's blowing pretty decent. So I'm gonna throw these guys maybe touch a hyzer or pretty flat and high and just see how much they're gonna pan over, you know, or how much they're gonna hold. So we'll see. The basket is up to the right by that tree there. Just that slow drift, I want that to get that higher. It's funny, I had an idea for what this video was gonna be, and it's like completely changing now because the discs aren't flying like they were, well, for me, like a few days ago. There we go. All right, so my first one was actually technically closer, but I'm like right behind that tree and like I had nothing. So we're gonna go here. 20, well, I call it 20 7 feet. Oh, short. Never mind. All right. All right, this hole is basically what every hole was like. This is 150 dead straight. I'm probably just gonna stand still, hit him flat on a little bit of hyzer. Somehow the wind is swirled and it's like back at my face again. So that's kind of annoying, but touch a hyzer. We're gonna see if we can bring this one up. Come on. All right, distance good, line not good. Oh, now the line's good and it's not tall enough or high enough. Bang, all right. Couple shorties there. I might try this one again. All right, we're back. I just realized I hadn't thrown these forehand at all yet because I was throwing them forehand a little bit because again, they were stable. Normally like 3-speed and below, I won't even think about forehanding because it's like the low RPMs plus being like understable. Like I just not, for me, I'm not a touchy guy. So, but these were actually flying like really nice. So we're gonna go forehand here. Hyzer, because I'm assuming it's gonna flip up a little bit. Again, we're trying to ace this thing. Okay, a lot of hyzer. Man, I'm not getting it there either. All right. There we go. Go in. Oof. Dang it. It's so much easier for me to tell if I'm throwing hyzer on forehand or not than backhand. I don't know, just because maybe it's out in front of me or whatever. I just have probably better angle control forehand, but those like were very obviously coming out hyzer. So I thought I was gonna make that second one, but unfortunately not. I would love to know if there's any other Atom throwers out there because these things actually are really awesome. I remember we had a buddy in college, Clay, he threw a Proton Atom and he threw, granted he still throws super far, but he threw further with that Atom than I could with like distance drivers. Like he was out driving me with a putter consistently. So these things are pretty cool. And the fact again that like, cause he's like a, man, he might be a 500 plus guy now. I don't know. I haven't played with him in a while, but he was throwing those Atoms again, further than I threw distance drivers, but they were literally just like dead straight, fall straight. So very, very cool. So like at slower speeds, it might be a little more stable, which is kind of what I thought these were, what they kind of are. But hole 5 here, looks like 219. It looks longer than that. Probably go 1 backhand, 1 forehand. I need to get the forehand going here. Pulling everything, it's gonna be just fine. It's that late flight, wow, it's actually parked. It's that late flight stability. All right, I think we're gonna try forehand just a little bit longer, so we'll see, but we do kind of have tailish type wind, so I'm hopeful. Oh my gosh, that's so sick. That's also under the basket. I mean, this thing, okay, I'm changing my mind on it. And what I mean by changing my mind is not what I think about the disc, but how the disc, like what I thought the disc flew like. I thought it was definitely more stable because it was the other night. I genuinely like, I didn't throw a shot that straight at all the other night, but it is just like a point and shoot mid that you know is not gonna get away from you because I used to have a proxy in the bag, but it got beat up and that was kind of my point and shoot putter, just straight putter, but I think it's gonna be this guy now. Like, cause he really is just like, especially on that forehand, just a little flip up, backhand, little flip up, just push. But we have a couple like 300-ish foot holes coming up. So we're really gonna see kind of how they hold up with like big turnover, you like try to hyzer flip or something like that. All right, forehand actually went like 25, 30 deep. So parked with the backhand, which is just fine. Again, but I think that's maybe what I was getting at with this is like, you can throw that hard and you're gonna get that straight flight with like reliable fade. Like I don't think, granted I threw it pretty bad on like hole number 3, but like if you throw that on anhyzer, it's probably will pan, but you throw that flat as long as it's not like ripping headwind, you're gonna get some fade to it. All right, this one's gonna be interesting. This is gonna have to be a lot of hyzer, keep it pretty high. We're looking at like, it's like 290 or something like that. Plays around this tree. A lot of times you can go big forehand, you can go big backhand. Backhand's just the more open, easier play. So we're gonna try to give these some height, give these some hyzer and see if we can't get there. Okay, wow. I have some form changes and I think they're paying off. Oh, I wanted that better. I'm gonna go get that. Oh, I slipped again, what the heck. Okay, so all things considered there, that probably went about 290 feet. The basket is just that way instead of that way. I think I was so focused on throwing that like hard enough that I didn't do anything with the angle. Like I think I threw that pretty flat, so whoops. All right, not my best work, but certainly not my worst. We're probably again another 20 footer here. What? Dang. All right, well, I didn't go pick the other one up because it was so far away. All right, this one's gonna be interesting. Why does it always keep swirling to a headwind? It's really annoying, actually. We're looking at like right at 300 feet, so I'm just hoping to kind of get these into circle here, but I'm gonna keep them high, touch a hyzer, hope that it kind of flips up in the wind and maybe turns a touch, but overall, like I'm hoping it's just gonna be, everything's gonna be relatively just straight. Get up. Didn't have the height. Oh shoot, I pulled it. Gosh dang it. I hope you can see that. Okay, I really hope you can see that. I think again there, I was just caught up in trying to throw it too hard, but something to note is that definitely, I hit a tree at the end there, that definitely would have had the distance. Had I just thrown the line right, we would have been set up pretty good, but we're gonna be short. That's fine. It's about what I expected, but I kind of have, again, like some form changes, so it's, the inconsistencies are definitely there. Oh, have mercy. The fact that that almost went in. All right, a little more direct line on this one. Stay up, dang it. All right, fun hole here, 213. I think what's gonna happen is I'm gonna throw a forehand. If it's good, I might try backhand. If I get close to acing though, I'm gonna throw another forehand. It wasn't very close. I might throw this hole again because I really like this shot here. Backhand turnover and then we'll do one of each again. No. Oh, we're totally go again. That was a really good line. All right, run it back. One forehand, one backhand again. Hopefully both better. Flipped up to flat. Get off that tree, please. Deep. Dang it, I really want to throw a forehand again. All right, I'm throwing forehand because we're throwing two backhands on the next one. So much hyzer. Gosh dang it. So hard when you're throwing the same disc and the first one flips up. So you're like, all right, let me put more hyzer on it, maybe take a little off. And then you do that and it's just straight hyzer and you're like, all right, I guess that's fine. All right, I actually pushed this one. They're both way longer than they need to be for this hole, but I'd like to know what like my closest putt is today. It's probably on like hole 1 or something. Oh, stay up. Gosh, dang it, dude. I debated on bringing like my own putters, my links to putt with. Should have. All right, finished it up here. Unfortunate tee pad placement. The tee, I guess the basket used to be there. Now we're over here, 300 feet on the dot. We're just gonna try to punch these as hard as I can and get them there. It's probably gonna require a little bit of turnover. I'm gonna try to throw them how I did on whatever, hole 7, I guess, but better. Come out, I hope you can see that. All right, definitely in circle, but again, pulling it a little bit. But one of my things is I'm finally throwing like nose down. So like, but for me to do that, I have to throw things a lot flatter. So we're trying to get nose down, still with some hyzer. Oh, and then you slip off the tee pad. It's really not bad either, actually. Yeah, anything in that dirt is like inside circle. All right, I'm taking the camera with me just in case. If we have one inside circle, I'm gonna putt out, call it good. If not, I'm gonna come back here and hopefully throw some good, like bigger shots, because I feel like that's like a more telling thing than just throwing like little chip forehands or whatever with it, you know what I mean? All right, they were both pushing circle for sure. They might have been in circle, but they were still like far. So I'm gonna see if I can get closer. That's pretty good. If it gets through those trees, yeah, that's about 10 feet there. Love that. And it's more direct, which is nice because this is super awesome. Like now that I have like, I guess evidence maybe is the word I'm looking for, that I'm throwing further. And I know I'm throwing further because I've been ranging stuff and whatnot. But like normally, like if this is 300-foot hole, I'd normally probably take like FX2, maybe the Justice, depending on wind, chip forehand. So the fact that I'm getting like a 2 or a 3 speed there feels really good. Oh, have mercy. I think I got a little ahead of myself. The fact that this shot is like pretty wide angle and then I'm like 99% sure that went out of frame. I'll keep it in because why the heck not? But if not, I would just cut that out because that was pretty pathetic, to be honest with you. All right, I mean, this was about as good as I could have asked for. This is probably right at 10 feet or less. All right, that is it. The MVP Atom, especially in this Eclipse plastic, super, super awesome. Probably my favorite MVP throwing putter right now. The Envy is probably still quote unquote the best to a lot of you people out there, just because it is stable, a little more usable, but these things are absolutely incredible. I highly recommend giving them a shot. I don't think the Eclipse is in like a stock plastic of any kind, but maybe you can find some Proton. But that is it, all I got for you today. If you're subscribed, I appreciate you. If you're not subscribed, I encourage you to subscribe. We got a few videos throughout the week and a ton of fun stuff that we'd love for you to be a part of. But that is it. Let's talk about this to the moon.